Hello and a very warm welcome to you all. Thank you for joining Global Peace Studies for Sustainable Development in Africa, where we discuss pertinent issues of peace and sustainable development around the world and across Africa. I'm George Mutalemwa, moderating this session on behalf of the Africa Peace and Development Network, MAMA. Our theme today is the DRC-Rwanda US Mediated Agreement, Truths, Risks, and Call for Action. Our speaker is Professor Naupess Kibiswa. He's a professor of peace and conflict resolution at the School of Criminology of the University of Kinshasa, and also at the Catholic Universities of Congo and Bukavu, DRC. Professor Kibiswa is a familiar face now in Global Peace, and we are so honored to have you, Professor Kibiswa. And as Peter is preparing to start sharing, you could probably say a few words about the topic, a little bit more about yourself, and then we'll proceed. So I'm so glad to have you all on board. And so we have about 60 minutes of presentation, followed by questions and answers and discussions. So, and feel free to put your question or comment in chat. We'll read it out, but we'll be also happy to hear your voice when you ask a question or make your comment and just share your experience. So thank you so much indeed. Now over to you, Professor Kibiswa. You are welcome.
Thank you, brother. I hope people can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And
yes, we can.
And this is a big joy for me to talk to my brothers and sisters from all over the world through the peace, the Global Peace and Institutes, and from a country I love so much, Tanzania. You can't know how, when I think of Tanzania, how proud I am and how lovely I feel because of its actions in favor of not only all Africans, but also the world. And especially also, Tanzania is a country that knows how to hold, let's say, people, or let's say leaders of Tanzania know how to hold their feelings, even if problems are very tough. Leaders of Tanzania know how to hold their feeling before acting. So that's something I like a lot. I would like to be like Tanzanian leaders in the future. Myself, if you want, I am what I can just add is I am an activist scholar in peace, conflict resolution, and genocide prevention. I may be tough with people, but I also know how to hold myself if necessary when it comes to decide on what to do. I may be critical, but also I do my effort to make things happen well to everyone. So I come from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. My basic education is in management, especially in health sector services. before undertaking peace and justice at the University of San Diego with a Fulbright scholarship, and also scholar in residence at American University after my master's degree in Washington, D.C. And then I undertook my PhD in conflict analysis and resolution at Nova Southeastern University in Florida. Now I'm talking to you from the US, but my heart is there where you are. And I'd like to get things done better from here, from the White House, because for me, the White House is the headquarters of the world. People may not agree with me, but peace and war can come from the White House.
Professor,
So,
are you ready? I think I can display what you need.
yes, no problem. And I would like to be, you to be, because that's the first time I will have someone else acting on my presentation. We may have some problems, but we'll try to do better.
I'll try to do the work of 3 people.
Thank you very much. So, even if my presentation title is the US Mediated Agreement between the DRC and Rwanda, because in between, there's been another agreement signed between the DRC government and the M23. So I decided to put all together and try to address both agreements together. So, because they all are one, according to those who signed them, be it M23, DRC government, Rwanda government, they are the same. So I'm ready to go. And I would like to state my objectives, and that are also my plan. It is about trying to address, just to present some basics, some context of the conflict before going through the agreement itself, or themselves. I will give some ideas about the 2 agreements, and then I will go through my reading of those agreements. It means my critiques of those agreements. And then I will try to show what are the risks of those agreements. And why those risks? Because the basics of those agreements are illegitimate. They are false claims that led to war and thus to negotiation. And as many of you may know, we say Fraus omnia corrumpit. It means fraud negates all. But they say also that maybe in bad things we can bring some good things. So that's why I have some hope, but let's go. I will end with some recommendations. So,
sorry, I'm having a slight interruption. In hold on one moment.
No problem.
I'm afraid my other machine has decided to freeze for a moment. We'll see what's going on. I think I've come back. You want to go with the PowerPoint at this time?
Yeah, good.
Okay.
So I will review the agreements. I'll present a short analysis of the agreements, my analysis. I will also unveil the illegitimacy of claims that led to agreements, to wars and disagreements. I'll show risks and make some recommendations. And then I will leave everything to your questions and my answer and some supplements. The context first. Everything in the African Great Lakes region today started with war and change of regime in Rwanda. Tutsi defeats Hutu. And then genocide of Rwandans, Tutsi, by other Rwandans, Hutu. I always want everyone to have that in mind. Genocide happened in Rwanda, not in Congo. It was performed by Rwandans over other Rwandans. But until today, peace is in Rwanda, war is in Congo, and Congolese are paying. Congolese was in an ongoing democratization process. When war ended in Rwanda with the defeat of Hutu and the victory of Tutsi, and because of the democratization process, Banyarwanda, self-named Banyamulenge, you will find everywhere I put Bani to mean Banyarwanda, Banyamulenge. And most of the time, when you see Banyarwanda, Banyamulenge, Bani too, I refer essentially to leaders who are extremists, because they are the founders of that name, the creators of that name, even if they impose it to everyone, including to other Congolese who have been killed by them simply by not calling them Banyamulenge. And for me, if there can be people who can be named Banyamulenge, they are people of the Bafuliro tribe, because they are the owner of the village of Banyamulenge, of Mulenge. I'll be going on that. Defeat of Hutu genocidaire, then they fled to Congo. That time Congo was named Zaire. And after that situation, Rwanda took advantage of those two things. Hutu genocidaire who fled to Congo, and the claim by Banyarwanda, Banyamulenge to invade Congo. And you have from there 5 invasions masked as Congolese rebellions. The first one in 1996 until 1997. The second one, 1998 to 2003. The third one, 2004, 2005. The fourth one, 2012 to 2013, and that was the M23-1. And now we have the fifth one, which is the M23-2, starting November 2021. All are invasions, but successfully presented by Rwanda as Congolese rebellions. And what is my reading of the agreement? What I see is a bilateral, I call intents. I don't really call them results, because we still need to see results coming from their implementation of those intents. So bilateral commitment to peaceful resolution by Rwanda and DRC. I see DRC natural resources joint exploitation with Rwanda. So the DRC will be exploiting its resources with Rwanda, which is a very new scheme in the world. And regional economic integrations, US-backed implementation, not only US-backed, but I think also Qatar, because I will say it in the second agreement. Joint exploitation of DRC natural resources, I think I've already said that, and respect for DRC territorial integrity. Flaws, according to my reading of those agreements, diplomatic washwashing of Rwanda's aggressions. Nowhere Rwanda's aggressions are mentioned. I see that the agreement legitimizes Rwanda's irregular foothold in DRC. It means now what the DRC was saying against Rwanda, now the DRC has to change its mind by accepting that Rwanda becomes partner in its presence on its territory. No accountability, no reparation at all, no, nothing. No justice. That's the word I should have put there. And the US and Rwanda interests focus not the DRC. US and Rwanda focus not the DRC. No negotiation between Rwanda and Hutu who fled to Congo. But Rwanda insists and obtained that the DRC negotiate with the so-called rebels, including M23. And it has done that since 1997. 1990, yes, 7. And the other flaw is violation of DRC people's sovereignty over his resources. As some of you may know, there is a resolution, the UN resolution of 1962, December 1962, asserting the sovereignty of each people on resources on his territory. Let's go. Qatar mediated agreements, key intents,
Still recent here.
commitment to peaceful resolution by both M23 and the DRC government, recognition of M23 as a lawful political actor. You can remember President Tshisekedi said he cannot negotiate with M23, but now M23 is recognized. That's a major victory for M23. Return of refugees, and I put refugees under quote because I doubt that really the number of people that President Kagame presents as refugees, Congolese refugees in Rwanda, are really refugees from the Congo and displaced populations. Amnesty, reintegration in the DRC's army. So I'm seeing the same pattern from all negotiations and repeating the same pattern. I don't know if this will produce something. I will say it maybe later. Exclusion of other Congolese armed groups from negotiation, simply because they are not Rwandan born. Also, no negotiation between Rwanda and FDLR. So those are flaws I find in all those agreements. Let me summarize now. Common flaws and risks for both agreements. Lack of international oversight. There is not real oversight. It means even if Qatar and the US are mentioned as overseers, you don't see any any defined roles for them, and no constraint at all on the parties. Reward for armed rebellions and killings. If M23 and Rwanda are now one lawful partner, the other one genuine partner of the DRC, it's simply because they led wars. They killed Congolese. Only that. Why not another country? Why not Angola, for instance? Because Angola is able to destabilize Congo more than Rwanda. Why not Angola? Why not Zambia? Why not Central African Republic? Why not Brazzaville, Congo-Brazzaville? So those are questions. No truth, no justice, no accountability. Potential demographic manipulation. What I mean here is this. The plan of secessionist Banyarwanda since 1981 was to have the UN organize a referendum in the Kivu for them to get what they call the territory of Rwanda, which are in Congo. I will maybe elaborate more on that. So after negotiation, and if they don't agree, the M23 and Rwanda may start the process of a referendum, self-determination referendum in the Kivus. By using those populations, they want them to come and settle in the Congo, even if they have never been in the Congo. But they say they are refugees. That's what I'm trying to say there, potential demographic manipulation. The other problems is new infiltration and occupation of DRC institutions. What does it mean? Today, the DRC has no an army per se. No, even if we say we have an army, we don't have an army. The army of the DRC is controlled by Rwanda. And people say it's an infiltrated army. No, I say it's an occupied army. I heard once present some officials, one of the chief of staff said, after they decide in Congo, the following minute, the information is in Kigali. So it means when you want to attack the so-called rebels, they receive the information right away and they can prepare against the army because they are in the army. They take part in decision making. So that's the new infiltration and occupation of the DRC institutions. When I say institutions, here I mean security services, intelligence, political institutions. We have got a vice president who is from Rwanda and who did everything that led to every other rebellions in Congo. So, and legitimization of violence and injustice. Let's go. Another pattern is the institutionalization of Hutu-Tutsi dualistic narratives in DRC. What I mean in this? People from Rwanda or people in Rwanda know only either Hutu, either Tutsi. They ignore Twa. So if you're not Tutsi, you are Hutu. That's the dualistic mindset and narratives they know. And in Congo now, it's what is being institutionalized, because either you are pro Banyarwanda Banyamulenge, either you are not, and because of that, you have to either be excluded or included. So that kind of mindset and narratives is taking place in the Congo now. And the continual diplomatic asymmetry favoring Rwanda. You have the reality now in the Africa's Great Lakes region that Rwanda is leading everything. Remember, it is President Tshisekedi who called for a minerals for security negotiation with President Trump. But everyone was surprised to see on June 27 an agreement between Rwanda and the DRC. How did Rwanda come to the table and to take the place that should have been the place of the US and Congo? So, and when after the day they signed the agreement, that the day Mr. Bulos said, we will have an agreement about minerals later between Rwanda and the DRC and the US, and between the DRC and the US. How could things happen that way? Simply because I suspect that because Rwanda has many channels in the US, Rwanda convinced US officials to lead things the way they are now led. So that asymmetry is there. I have many other things, but now I want to, let me continue. No root causes of wars addressed. For me, the root causes of war are three. Please go back, please. Yes. No root causes of wars have been addressed. The main root cause of the war is ideology. the ideology of ethno-nationalism. And here you have the two ideology of nationalism, which is ethno-nationalism, which is the hegemonic, which is the most dangerous one, according to Stephen van Evera, and the secessionist ethno-nationalism. That ideology in two branches is the basic of war. Then you may say, okay, what about resources? Yes, resources is also a factor, but it comes after that ambition to dominate others and the need for territory. That ideology of domination of others and the need for territory, coupled with need for natural resources, are the root causes, but here they are not addressed at all. We don't have anything about them. Someone can tell me, but the joint exploitation of DRC's natural resources is one of the solutions. No, it's not. It's not. Also, no structural factors of the conflict are addressed, especially the geographic proximity of the so-called Banyarwanda, Banyamulenge, and Rwanda, poor governance, and other factors. So those are the main things that will prompt Rwanda to potential territorial claims again. Also, one ethnic group's political and military control over more than 30 other in the Kivu. And not only in the Kivu, because when they gain power in Congo, what we saw for these 30 years, last 30 years, when Bani II gained power in the Congo, we saw them controlling everything, everywhere. Everything, everywhere. So even if I say over 30, that's only in Kivu, but it will be over 450 tribes. And as I've already said, Bani II demographic outnumber and self-determination referendum in the Kivu. And you know what it means? It means disintegration of the DRC, if I can put it the other way. Let's go. But I am pleased with the principle of agreement between the DRC and the US. Why? Because it is the first time the forgotten conflict got international major recognition. And the first time the White House is publicly involved in the process publicly, because I know before that the White House was always there, but doing things in the hiding to go and do things the way they wanted. That the U.S. Emboldened the Rwanda to invade Congo with the UK, and everything started there. So this time we see that people can say something. And I see another actor, Qatar, involved. And Congolese Americans can also deploy themselves to get something to influence the process. Those are the major advantage I can note from the agreement. But they are not a net gain at all. Why? Because you don't know where the US can go. You don't control the US. The US has its interests. Qatar has its interests. And they are friends of Rwanda, maybe more than friend of the Congo. So that's the place I'm hesitating a bit to say that's a gain, but it may be a two-sided how do we call this? We call it couteau à double tranchant in French. So I will find the word to say it. So that's the problem, but that's a gain. Let's go. And that situation leads me to call for Congolese responsibility. But I would like to come back to this, because I can say it now, but I'd like to come. I would like to end with this responsibility and recommendation, but I would like to go first to how do we reach that place of those agreements before I come back to responsibilities. Can you go to claim?
Sorry, is this another slide, or do you want to see the video?
Yes, let's go to videos before and to let the Thabo Mbeki, and starting with Julius Nyerere video, and then Thabo Mbeki. I didn't find the English version of Ronnie Jackson's, but but with the two, it's sufficient. What are the claims that led to wars? The claims that led to war, I've already said it. They are today pretexts, simply pretexts. And even at the beginning of wars, they were pretexts. The main claims were that, let's go.
I think there should be sound. Let me pause for a moment.
So you don't have sound for that?
I believe I do.
Okay, let me keep going and then you will. So the first claim was, okay, Rwanda have the right to defend itself, to attack, to pursue Hutu genocidaire in the Congo. Because Hutu genocidaire were a threat to Rwanda's security. Then, at the same time, because there was in Congo a so-called minority of Rwandan-speaking people self-named Banyamulenge, they needed protection from Rwanda. Those two were the starting point of wars in Congo. But if you look at things, not only today, did I send you the video of the Rwandan ambassador? No.
I just have
Rwandan,
this and Nurari.
it's the Rwandan ambassador in Congo, Vincent Karega, clearly said in 2021 that the army of the Congo has weakened the Hutu genocidaire in Congo. So there is no reason for Rwanda to attack Congo because of that reason. That was an official, the official representative of President Kagame in the Congo, stating that in 2021 that the Hutu genocidaire, we call them FDLR, are no longer a threat to the security of Rwanda. So why do Rwanda continue to say that, and why do the world continue to believe in Rwanda? That's one. Two, those self-named Banyamulenge, not only it's a lie that they are an indigenous tribe of the Congo, meaning they were in the Congo before the Congo was created in 1885, which is a lie, because every sources they mention does not confirm what they say. The main source they present are only private sources, meaning academic sources. It is a book written by a Belgian, Georges Weiss, in 1959, and another Belgian also wrote in 1965, and a book written by one of them. I call him one of them because he's a Belgian, but with a mother from the tribe of Bantu. And he wrote his book in 1974 after the conflict erupted already. In 1994, conflict erupted already because in 1974, it was 3 years after the person who was chief of staff of President Mobutu, Bisengimana, who was from Rwanda, did already so
Sorry, there's oops.
Oops. I don't seem to be able to make sound.
you think I can do it from here?
Probably.
I think you might be able to do it from there.
Let me find it.
It's not responding to the sound settings here.
Oh.
It does seem to have subtitles.
The Nyerere is in English. The Nyerere is in English, so it may run directly without problem. And Tabombeki also is in English, so those two do not need any translation.
If I may make a suggestion, this has been a wonderful presentation, Mwalimu Kibiswa. And
Yes.
so probably as you kind of wind up, we may now have questions and comments while we prepare also the videos. So maybe we'll be able to kind of interrupt the question and answer session with videos, if this is okay with you, so that
no problem.
Everybody has a chance to ask or make a comment.
No problem.
Excellent. And so please go ahead, Mwalimu Kibiswa, and then we will continue. Mwalimu is the Swahili word for teacher. Mwalimu Nyerere himself was a teacher, and we call him respectively as Mwalimu, the teacher. And somebody actually used to say Mwalimu Nyerere was a teacher of all Tanzanians, and somehow Tanzanians behaved like school children. They had to listen every time to teacher, you know? So good morning, teacher. Good afternoon, teacher. Good evening, teacher. So thank you very much indeed. So please proceed, Mwalimu.
I have put the video links in the chat.
Excellent.
Okay, so responsibilities for me, Congolese, they need to know that they have no choice but to start governing well the country. The government should use the Congolese diaspora, especially the diaspora in the US. The US that took the lead of the negotiation process. The DRC need to prosecute Rwandans' crimes in the DRC. The DRC cannot just waiting until the so-called international community starts acting, but it should start prosecuting all criminals, be they Rwandans or Congolese, from the onset of the wars in Congo. Also, there should be equal treatments of Uganda and Rwanda. You can be treating fairly Rwanda and not treating Uganda fairly, or you cannot consider Rwanda as evil or the devil, and find in Uganda angels. No, Rwanda and Uganda play the same roles in the Congo. If they may have some different goals, because maybe Uganda doesn't have the vocation to dominate the Congo, maybe, but I don't think it's because those who are leading Rwanda and those who are leading Uganda are the same group of people with the same ideology of domination. They were also in Burundi when they attacked the DRC. Remember, Buyoya was leading the Burundi when wars started. So it is difficult for me to separate Uganda and Rwanda. They are the same for me. And speeches from the chief staff of the Ugandan army are clear. He said Kagame is his cousin or nephew, and everything you do to Kagame, you may wait for reaction from him. And recently, he decided to attack the Wazalendo, who are defending the lands in Congo. So how do you separate Uganda and Rwanda? As a matter of fact, Uganda has already been condemned by the international justice for its roles in Congo. So, and I'm inviting that strong deployment of DRC's diaspora UK. So that's, I would stop there, but I need, if Peter can at least show those two MS Word documents I sent him to show the falsity of claims by the ethno-nationalist Banyarwanda, Banyamulenge, pretending that they are, they claim of being indigenous of the Congo are false from the books they themselves cite. Okay, this is, unfortunately, people cannot see them clearly, but there you have yes. If yes, now I think it's clear. If you go down, please, the key quote is the key. Okay, so we can stop there. Let's start where it's page 148, 148, and I'll go back to that, 148. Yeah, we can start there, no problem. So this is the author they mention a lot, George West, who says, tradition has it that the peoples, tradition has it that the people, I translate from French, tradition has it that the peoples of the southern part of the Ruzizi Plain and the northwestern shore of Lake Tanganyika, namely Fuliro, Rundi, and he adds a note, at least those of the Rundi who at that time had already infiltrated the Ruzizi Plain, Vira and Bembe suffered greatly from Arab incursions. Now the following one, shortly before the arrival of the Rwanda and Europeans, the Uvira region experienced a unique period in its history known as Arab colonization. This colonization resulted in the deportation and massacre of many populations in Africa. So, these pages have been misquoted by one of the Banyarwanda leaders, saying that, as you can see, it's peu avant, before, or this is, I think the translation is for page 145. The French is from 48, that's 48, 148. On page 48, I think that translation is for the page 145. So it's so what I'm trying to say is this. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say is this. George West, who wrote his book in French, says that Tutsi who migrated to Congo did not reach Congo before the Arab colonization. And the Arab colonization ended only in 1894. 1894. So those who came to Congo, Tutsi who came to Congo, at least in the plain of Ruzizi, where the village of Mulenge is, came after 1894. And the date that one of them writes, who is a Munyarwanda too, Abe Kajiga, he says they arrived in the plain in Kaziba in the year 1896, only 4 years before the 20th century. So how can you say you were there before the creation of Congo? And the writing is, he cited the Belgian Congo. The Belgian Congo started in 1908. So all those things, when you take them together to justify that those who are hitting the aliens deserve all kind of negotiation and gain they have today, it is simply legitimizing fraud. So I would like people to ask if they have questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much indeed, Naupess Kibiswa, for this excellent presentation on the DRC-Rwanda US mediated conflict, this agreement. And so now it's time for questions, comments. We'll start with Afiz. You're welcome, Afiz.
Thank you, George. Thank you, Prof, for the presentation. We actually appreciate the major problem that is actually bothering the development and growth of Africa. But what's actually giving me concern while you are presenting, what is actually pinning me or pains me is that in spite of all these problems that we have been identified, what is the ruling body? What are they doing? Or I would like to throw it to you, Prof, sir, that what is the way forward in spite of knowing this major problem? What can we use as a tool, as a mechanism to solve this imminent problem that is bothering and trying to destabilize African development politically, socially, economically? So what are we going to do? What is the way forward? Are we going to leave the politicians to continue running the affairs of Africa the way they do? Or what is going to be our impact as a scholar, as an academia, to make a vibrant solution to African problem? Thank you, sir.
Excellent. You may respond to that, Naupess. And at the same time, you can also ask some people to ask questions after Afi. So, Naupess, please, if you may respond to that question from Afi.
For me, we need to, as Africans, I don't think that we can live in a continent or countries where we are alone. The world is open to the world. We need to get involved, those who can help us to do so. And one of the proof is that since 1996, wars in Congo are led by only one ethnic group out of 450. One ethnic group comes with guns, impose its will on Congo, and the world is just looking at the situation without doing anything. But every time we started to get some solution, at least interim solutions, it was when South Africa intervened to get the 2003 agreement. And that 2003 agreement, led by President Thabo Mbeki and one of the Senegalese mediators, Moustapha Niasse, led to a government of one president and 4 vice presidents in the Congo. So we took time to do what we call democracy. And some kind of peace. But in the same time, in the meantime, another war started by another general of the same tribe, Laurent Kunda, if you can remember that. So there is that pattern of one ethnic tribe wanting to impose to 450 tribes its will. That's what I call the ethno-nationalism, hegemonic ethno-nationalism. And if nothing is done to help them, not only to understand that they cannot continue to do things the way they used to do them in Rwanda, where they are from, they need to accept the democracy. And those who are teaching us democracy keep things, they keep quiet, then we cannot change. So we need to accept others coming to our country, but those others, I'm in the US, you are not, if the US doesn't give you the American citizenship, you are not American. You cannot take guns. What if if I take people from Mexico who are in the US today, and they have been joined by other people who speak Spanish, if they decide to secede in Texas, in San Diego, California, Arizona, what will be the answer from other Americans, if not to fight against them? So there is something we need to teach to others who come in a country. Please respect laws in the country, and from that respect, you can enjoy your citizenship in that country, and then everything will go further. But if you come and you want to impose, so those who have power need to help the Congo to cure ethno-nationalism from those who come to Congo. And that is one of the roles the US needs to teach to people from Rwanda living in the Congo.
We have a question now from Dr. Patrick Ulala.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Prof, for your wonderful presentation. I just have one question or concern regarding the situation that we have currently in the DRC. Because in your presentation, you mentioned that the politic of Uganda and Rwanda is the same when it comes to the issue in the DRC. And you also mentioned the son of the president of Uganda, Museveni, who always openly, praise, the leadership of the president of Rwanda, and my concern is when it comes to the government of the DRC, you will see that when it comes to Uganda, they officially invited Uganda to come part of the missions of peace that is taking place, especially in the Ituri region, while at the same time that the government knows that Rwanda and Uganda, they are working together to destabilize the eastern part of the DRC. So that kind of contradiction, how do you think that we can overcome, or as scholars to bring a solution regarding that kind of contradiction? Because as you can see, and that's the reality, the politics is the same between Uganda and Rwanda, but the Congolese government prefers to collaborate officially with the government of Uganda, knowing that they are having the same, or they are coordinating with the Rwanda to destabilize the eastern part of the Congo. What is your say about that kind of contradiction, Prof? Any inputs about that?
Yes, thank you. I can't be clear enough to say the government of the Congo is not doing what it should be doing. That's why I insist one of the challenge, the responsibility of Congolese is good governance. Even if we know that Congo is weak today because of a planned policy from the UN, the US, and the UK to impose, and then now France, to impose arms embargo against the Congo so that the Congo cannot get enough means to defend itself. But I know you have rebellion in Sudan. Where do rebels get guns? In Sudan. So why not the Congo do the same? The Congo can also get guns from other government, because they get, the way the report I've read is that arms that help rebels in Sudan come from Bulgaria through this, I think not Saudi Arabia, one of the Emirates in the Middle East. And they get arms and they fight. So the DRC government is not effective in leading the country. Its policies are just weak. And that simply, there are many reasons for that. One of the reasons is that, remember, President Tshisekedi has been placed on power with the agreement of Rwanda. So the collaboration between him and Kigali, he was maybe naive at the beginning, but now it seems like he is becoming more assertive, but it's a bit late. It's a bit late. Without getting enough military equipment, he cannot really assert the DRC government and sovereignty. And for me, the M23 second edition started because of that cooperation between Uganda and Rwanda. It is when Uganda signed an agreement with Congo to build roads, which is a shame for me. I don't need my aggressors to come and build my road at all. So after the DRC signed an agreement with Uganda to build roads, Rwanda decided to reanimate the M23, at least those who were living in Rwanda. And they attacked. After they attacked, they were defeated. At least they couldn't continue. And then Rwanda and Uganda became friends again, because the time the M23 attacked for the first time, Rwanda and Uganda were not good friends. And remember, President Tshisekedi helped them to go back to their marriage. Unfortunately, that marriage led to the second coming of M23, because they entered Congo through Bunagana. Bunagana doesn't have borders with Rwanda. It is with Uganda. So those who were living in Uganda were the most active M23. That's now what is going on now. He is a kind of, I don't know how to say this. I don't have enough, but it is, Tshisekedi has or still have hands and feet bound by his relations between him and Kagame and him and Museveni. If we can say with Kagame things are not well anymore, but with Museveni he's still bound. He still have hands and feet bound. That's a strategy that if you read the Bible, Mark 3:27, there you will see if the person wants to plunder your house, he should come and first bind you, and then he can plunder the house the way he wants. So that's what I can say. I don't know how to say it, but only that way.
All right. Thank you so much, Richard. You're welcome, Richard.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have myself part to Professor Naupess' presentation. To me, DRC and Uganda, the problem within these two countries is becoming, it's somehow new to me, but I'm thinking about the individual. If in my family, if my younger brother comes from maybe the city to come and build, if I will not feel happy, I'll be somehow a bit troubled, because I'll be thinking, why shouldn't I build that? You see, but that doesn't mean I am with bad idea or bad what is it? I am a bad person. The thing is, we need to have some sort of mindset to embrace any new thing that comes in our way. If we find it difficult to accept new things, there will always be conflict. So I believe these issues are battle in the mind. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, they are just individual minds battling. So what I think is you just focus on what you are doing. If whatever you do as a person within as a citizen of your country, just do it and do it well. You realize that things will just turn the other way around. So to advise, I don't. Thank you with this. Thank you so much.
What's the problem?
No, I was trying to get add a little to the issues that you enumerated, sir. Thank you.
All right, Richard. Then we've got Yvonne. If you may say something as well.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Yvonne. I'm calling.
What's the question?
It was a comment.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and thank you to Professor Kibiswa for this wonderful presentation. I know Professor Kibiswa, as I am Congolese as well, and who helped me a lot to in the process of my own PhD. As I was saying, I'm calling from Canada, where I am about to defend my PhD thesis on the same issue. So you will forgive me to not go deep to what is about, as the priority is going, as you know, to the jury in the couple of weeks. But I will maybe give my comments a bit regarding the comments from other speakers that took the word before on what tools can we use to address this issue. I think Professor Kibiswa touches the point of the Congolese state. The weakness of the Congolese state is the matter that needs to be addressed in the way of how an organized state can address peaceful relationship between communities. You can do that if you are not organized as a state. So the matter of identities in the Great Lake region is a big issue. You can't fix the security in the country, the government in the country, without going deep in identities in that Great Lake region, which we can see with Professor Kibiswa, it is very complex. So Congolese government need to be that kind of society by being strong. When we say strong, it is not only about the powerful of the army, it is organizing of the society, the administration. We know that we have more than 400 tribes in Congo, but how are these tribes organized and identified? You can't know. So the issue, the first tool for me is the Congolese state that needs to be organized, and militarily, politically, and economically as well, and culturally, which is the problem now. Culturally, as a matter of the identities. So thank you for the time, and thanks to the Professor Kibiswa who helped me achieving my PhD. So as I said, I'm about to defend it. I will be happy to share my results after sharing it with my jury in the couple of weeks. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yvonne, and all the best.
George?
Yeah, please. Yes,
George?
Kibiswa, if you may also sum up now as we conclude session for today.
Yes, I've got the Mwalimu Nyerere video. If I can play it.
So what we're going to do, we are going to play it after we have stopped the recording. And so for those especially who are also interested in staying, they can watch that slowly. And yeah, so you may sum up
And
now, and then we can watch the video later.
Okay. Now,
Thanks.
what I'm trying to say, to sum up, is this. Thank you very much, Yvonne. You are a wonderful person. And thank you for your recognition. We are now in a process led by the major power of the world. It is the present Babylon. If you go to the past, if we can take advantage of the involvement of the US in this conflict, and I mean the public involvement. The US was involved in the past, but in the hiding. Now it's a public involvement. My advice is, let Congolese who are American citizens do the work they need to do towards the government of the United States. And I see one of Congolese American citizens who want to say something. If we want things go the way we would like them to go, I only have to talk to the Congolese government now to collaborate with its diaspora. And the diaspora needs to deploy itself to get it may go from those two agreements. If we don't get strongly involved as Congolese citizens with with American citizenship, with UK citizenship, with European citizenship, to contribute, I don't want to use the word pressure because it may be negative, but at least to lead leaders of those countries in the West to change their attitude, complacent attitude towards Kigali and Kampala, so we won't have a solution. And the Congolese government needs to start leading the country the way it should do and cooperate with its diaspora. That's the main call I make. I have many other things, but I prefer to stop on those two that responsibilize Congolese first, and others will come later. But I have one question here from the chat, from John Kapapi, who would like to ask something. I don't know if he can have the floor.
I'm afraid, Mwalim Kibiswa, that we have to end there for today. There is also another important question also in chat besides that one, which is from Otto Chipido on what is the way to peace in DRC. But of course, also Afiz asked a similar question. And this is a very big question which we need to consider also for another time. So if you allow me, please let me thank you, especially for your great presentation, well thought out. We are going to watch the videos later. And I would like to thank everybody also for being with us today. Because I know,
when you say later, you mean Not today?
Yeah, we can also watch it now, just after, you know, we stopped the recording.
Yes.
But of course, also we can also watch it or watch them later on, even afterwards, you know, privately.
So I can play them.
Yeah, you can play them after we have stopped the recording. And I thank also Peter for the wonderful technical assistance. And I thank everybody.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, whenever you have time, do join us. I know you are quite busy, but at least once a month. That would be really lovely. So all the best for now, and see you on Wednesday. Bye-bye.